Hi, my name is Bortey the Traveler. I'm in the central region of Ghana. Behind me is the Mina Castle. Let's go. This is Kaneshie Market in Accra, where I can join the commercial bus to Mina. I'm told to pick up any bus heading towards Takrady and alight at Mina Junction. First, let me grab some pawpaw and interact with these market women. Wow, this is my first time, but well, I love adventures, so I'm up for it. I might be a resident in Geneva today, but I feel so much joy walking among my people. You know, there is no place like home. This reminds me of my youthful days in Accra. I love this scenery to the max, trust me. I'm at Takrady station now, and after close to 3 hours on the road, I finally arrive at Mina and hop on the taxi to the castle. Finally here, but first of all I had a taste of fresh coconut because here you get it straight from the farm, you know. I checked the environs for a while, looking at the fisher folks.
Hi, my name is Bortey, the Traveler. I'm in the central region of Ghana. Behind me is the Mina Castle. Let's go. I think we're gonna check the ocean before we go there.
I knew what I'm going to experience at the castle will be mind-torturing for me, so let me breathe in some good breeze.
Behind me is the Mina Castle, which was used during the slave trade. Well, it's sad to see, but we're gonna get closer to learn more about what happened during the slave trade.
Okay. This is the entrance, and I did all the necessary arrangement for my tour, which cost me just about $2 as a citizen. But if you are a foreigner, you pay more. As we await for our tour guide, I quickly did a sneak peek to do my own thing first.
It's very sad seeing this. Even the sound, the echo coming out of these little cells. By the way, these are the female cells. And this small room cell contained about, I don't know, hundreds of people. Hundreds and hundreds of people. It has been well kept. See the chains, they are closed.
Now let me follow closely, because this video is not just another content, it's a documentary.
Now, look, this is a cannonball they used to punish the female slaves. The balls were 8, there were chains connected. Because when the Europeans came, only the men came here without their wives. So some of them were raping the women. There were soldiers here. We have missionaries, merchants, the governor, and even the governor's assistant. So those who refused to be raped, those who tried to escape, some of them were very strong. Then they were attacking the master, so they were brought here. And the person would be chained to the boss, very heavy, so you can't move with it. And you have to stand here whether there is rain or sunshine. In that period, no food, no water. When they see that you are very, very weak, and then you'll be released. So I think for the women, punishment came in the form of public humiliation. They did that just to break the spirit of the rest of the women down. So anytime you are called to do something, quickly you have to obey. So that is the purpose of this one. Let's continue. Now look, these are wooden bars. At that time, they were using these ones, iron bars. So there's no way a slave can escape. But because the castle is very close to the sea, the original bars are getting rusty. So all the bars have been replaced with wood. So wherever you see wooden bars like this, they were using these ones. And the clothes that you see on the floor, you see, there was a program here. It was held on 3rd July 2015. The title for the program is The Return of the Slaves. So many people came here, some from the States, some from UK, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Togo, so many places. They were all Africans. They slept in this dungeon for one night just to have a feel of how the captives felt when they were in the dungeons. I was around. Some of us left very late. The next day when we came, one of the securities told us that after the program, some of them fell sick and they were rushed to the hospital. So you can picture how hard it was when the real thing was going on in the day. So this is what they used to cover themselves. Now, let's have a look. Water reservoir. They connected pipes like these ones right on top of the building. So whenever it rains, it passes through. The water was filtered over there and clean one will be harvested here. It covers the entire floor. We are all standing on it. And when it is full, we have 20,000 gallons of water for domestic use only. And look at this place. This is a balcony. According to the history, the governor of the castle stands at the side anytime he wants to rape one of the women. And some of the women will be assembled as we are. The governor chooses the one he likes. They have to fetch water for the one chosen by the governor to wash down. Maybe the person might have been in the dungeon for so long without taking her bath. After the humiliation, they'll force the woman to climb this. The selected woman will be forced to climb this one. There's a trap door on top. They have to open it and up the door straight to the governor's bedroom. After the rape, the woman still comes back as a slave. And because of what happened, they said a lot of them got pregnant. Because it wasn't only the governor. Some of the soldiers, the merchant and others were also raping them. Now, those who were found pregnant were freed. So I think no one would buy a pregnant slave at that time. But you see, the captives were not from Ghana alone. Some from Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Togo, Mali, Burkina Faso. Ghana was like a hub. Apart from Ghana, there's also a castle in Senegal. We call it Goree Island. When you go to Mombasa in Kenya, there's a fort there called Fort Jesus. Nigeria, we have Badagry Slave Market. Even the same Nigeria, we have Calabar slave market. We have Zanzibar slave market in Tanzania. And even Ghana, apart from the fort and the castles, there was a slave market in the north. We call it Salaga slave market. We even have Paga slave camp, Pinkolo slave camp, a lot. So they were bringing them here. And because some of them were from long distances, when they were freed, they could not trace their origin. And also when they gave birth, the children were light-skinned, so they saw the children to be their own. Later, they built houses outside the castle for the pregnant women. They brought the children here. Those children were educated. They were not slaves. They were educated. And according to the history, those children grew up and they felt superior over the indigenous people. That is why today in Ghana, it is common to hear names like, we have names like Van der Poel, Van Dyke, Viella. We have Da Costa, De Geer. We even have Vroom, Battles, Smith, Johnson. Yeah, all this, Ferguson and all this. These are all foreign names because we were using the tribal name. As I said, we have so many tribes in Ghana, and I am Fanti. That's what I said. I was born on Monday, so my name is Kojo. You see, but they came and then introduced all these foreign names. Any question? Let's continue.
All of us on this tour were saddened by the realities of our ancestors, suffered that no one could even ask questions. Guys, I hope you are following this insightful video. Don't forget to subscribe and drop your comments below. It's very important.
Now, among the dungeons for the female captives, this one is the largest one. All the dungeons here, this is the largest. There was a door at the side closed, another door over there. So ventilation was from this one, then the small one that you see at the end. Look, this is the original floor. Human beings were sleeping on a bed floor. And in this castle, there were no toilet facilities for the slaves. Because I told you that when they built it initially, they were using all the rooms on the ground floor as storerooms. When they shifted to the evil trade, the same rooms were converted into dungeons. So they have to put containers in the dungeons for the captives to ease themselves. So you can imagine those who were sick, who were very weak, and could not get closer to the containers, will have to ease themselves. They were women, they had their menses, they were in the same condition. And then they stayed in the dungeons for 3 months to wait for the ships. But there were no machines at that time. You can imagine, from America to this place. A lot of them died. And according to the history, when you die, they will carry the body and then they throw it into the sea. Any question? Let's continue.
Same way.
Now, when you look at this side, you can see we have two separate cells. Have you seen the cells? The one with the crossbone and the skull, and then the one with the metal gate. Apart from these two cells, the rest of the rooms you see on the ground floor round were dungeons for the male slaves. The male slaves were about 600, and then the female, as you can see, female slave dungeons, they were about 400. So at one time, this castle held about 1,000 slaves at a time. The governor of the castle was on top of everybody. And then the middle one for the assistant governor. The rest of the rooms were for soldiers. We have missionaries and this side for the merchants. So apart from those up being the Europeans, all the rooms on the ground floor for the Africans. And this wall, the slanted wall here, when you look over there, we have a similar one. Have you seen it? Yeah, Dutch added them to support the walls of the castle when they took over from the Portuguese. By the metal, the iron rails that you see on top of it, also added by the British. British used this castle as police training school in 1948. So policemen were climbing up and down for training. Now, please, you have to see, you have to mind your head. Slave exit to waiting boat. All the male slaves were forced through this to the ships. This side, you mind your head, there is one step down.
Here comes the saddest part. Brace yourselves, guys.
Watch your head. Yeah, so that was where we were standing. The female slaves came down this way, and then the male slaves were also from here. So I think this was a place that many of the captives saw themselves the first time they were brought to the dungeons. Because at that time, a whole family could have been captured. When they were brought here, they separated all of them. So husbands and wives saw themselves here, brothers and sisters, even friends. They were all in chains. And I strongly believe that some of them will be crying. They were forced through this one to the ships. This side, you have to bow very low, count 5 steps. After the steps, you can raise up your head.
Here we were actually walking while squatting towards the door of no return. To every black man watching this video in America or the Caribbean, know that this is the torturous gate that took you to where you are now.
Count 5 steps. Yeah, so this is the door of no return. All the slaves were forced through this. The sea was very close. Today it has receded. So there was a ladder down. Small canoes took the captives right from this side to the big ships off to America or Caribbean for plantations. And according to the history, those who died at sea were more than those who died in the dungeons. Because when the slave trade was going on, there was somebody around. He was a captain of a slave ship. The name of the man is John Newton. He gave an example that when a ship takes 700 slaves, either 1/3 or half died. Surprisingly, the captain of the slave ship later became a priest. And he wrote this song. Do you know this song? Amazing Grace. That is his song. He was actively involved. Later he regretted of what he did. He started reading religious books. And then he became a priest and he wrote that song. And he even became one of the abolitionists. And because a lot of them died, visitors laid wreath that you see at the corners of the floor to remember those who died in the dungeons, as well as those who also died at sea. So what they are saying is that those people, may their souls rest in perfect peace. And you can see some alcohol, like bottles of alcohol. You see, some of the tourists or some of the visitors are not Christians because they believe that the spirits of our ancestors will eat them. And some put water down. They have a strong belief that our ancestors will also drink them to quench their thirsts for the suffering that they went through. That's what you see. So this is the type of, a kind of religion our people were worshiping. Yes, that is it. The doors are very short and narrow for one person at a time, so that you will not get a chance to come together, even in chains. Okay, so let's continue this way. Mind your head. Let's have a look. This is Dutch and it's old Dutch. When Dutch were here, one of their governors died, so they wrote this to remember the governor. The governor is from Zeeland, which is one of the provinces in Netherlands. The governor arrived here on the 16th of January 1758. He died 12 March the same year. He was 41 years when he died. And this is a tribute written by a priest. Tribute to the governor. The name is A. Andrese from Viera. And Viera is also a suburb in Zeeland. So what the priest is saying is that when the governor was alive, he was very humble, he was honest and God-fearing. Now let's compare these two cells. And look, this is a mission statement of the whole tour of the castle brought by the National House of Chiefs. So we are all entered. Hello, you go this one first. Let's get inside. Yes. I am hot. Now, this was a cell for the European soldiers, not for the slaves. They said some of them went out without permission, some were drunk. So those who misbehaved, they were in this one as punishment, and later they will be released. That is why you can see this cell is well ventilated. Now, let's see the other one. Yeah. Now, this one was a cell for the slaves, those who were struggling for their freedom. Today, we may call them the freedom fighters, like those who tried to escape, those who were fighting the masters. They were in this one, no food, no water until you die. So this was a death or condemned cell for the Africans. That is why in front of the cell, we have a crossbone and a skull. Now, when you look up there, you can see we have two watchtowers. Have you seen them? This one and then the other one. Dutch soldiers were up to look on the sea for any possible attack when they were here. When British took over, they converted the towers into prisons. So British captured a very powerful Ghanaian king from Ashanti region. The name of the king is Prempeh I. Full name is Nana Akwesi Ajiman Prempeh. The king was in this one for 4 years. From here, he was sent to Freetown in Sierra Leone for 1 year and later exiled to Seychelles Island across the Indian Ocean. The same British also captured a queen mother. woman. She was a warrior. She led people to fight the British. The name is Ya Asantua. The woman was also imprisoned in this one and later also exiled to Seychelles Island. Any question? Now, before the captives will be brought to the dungeons at that time, they were sent to a village in Ghana here. The name of the village is Asin Manso. I don't know whether you know that. Yeah, Asin Manso. It's about 2 hours drive from here. That was where the slaves were shaved. They had their last bath before they were brought here. As I'm speaking, the river is still there. And many, many years ago, 2 people were buried there. They were reinterred, one African American and one Jamaican. They died outside this country, they were buried. But when Ghanaians were celebrating the first Emancipation Day, their mortal remains were exhumed. And even history has it that many people witnessed the exhumation of their remains. Now, they brought their remains back to this country, to be specific, the other castle, Cape Coast Castle. Then they performed a ceremony for them. After the ceremony, they sent their remains back to where the slaves had their last bath to be reburied. And they did that to honor them because they were fighting for the Africans in terms of racism, white man's supremacy, and so many other things. That's what they did that to honor them. So the river is still there. A lot of tourists do go there. I've been there with groups several times. Some even go there before they come here. Yes, and we call the river Don Concio in our language, but in English, it's Slave River. But sometimes when visitors come here, some of them do not get a chance to see the river, maybe due to time constraints. And you know, slave trade also lasted more than 400 years. So we cannot use 45 to an hour to tell the whole story. So now look, you see, the one on top of the hill over there, it's part of this castle. It's a fort. The name is Fort St. Jago. St. Jago. Dutch soldiers were up to protect inland and this castle from attack, because when Dutch were attacking the Portuguese, some came from inland and others also from seaward. That's why they did this one. And then some of the buildings you see very close were built by the Europeans for the women who got pregnant. That's where they stayed. But later the locals renovated some of them. Today they are using them as their own. Now let me show you something down there. Look. You see the square diagram that you see there? This one. Yeah. It's a compass. Navigational compass for direction. That's why we have north, south, east, and west. And at the same time, it serves as a sundial. They put a stick at the center of the compass and they use the shadow to tell the time. And this moat will be filled with water from here up to the end. And the bridge that you see over there, it's a drawbridge. They can easily lift it up to close the entrance. So no one will get a chance to enter the castle for security reasons. And then all the cannons that you see, these are all original cannons.
My final commentary on this video is to encourage all of us in the diaspora to return to our roots. Not just to return, but come back to support our brothers and sisters who are lagging behind with our resources and expertise. I hope after watching this video, you will share this message and learn something from it. It shows us how to love one another. My name is once again Bortey, the Traveler. Subscribe
and hit the like button. One love.